Imagine an army so disciplined that a single drumbeat could change its formation, a military force so loyal and organized that it shaped one of the greatest empires in history. This is the story of the Janissaries, the strategic engine of the Ottoman Empire. When the Ottoman Empire began expanding in the 14th century, it needed more than strength. It needed an army built on discipline, order, and professionalism. The Janissaries, known as Janissary, became the empire's first standing army, a revolutionary concept in a world dominated by irregular troops. Unlike feudal levies or mercenaries who fought for plunder, the Janissaries were a full-time state-funded force. This allowed them to train year-round, developing a level of cohesion and skill that was unmatched. Their creation marked a shift from temporary armies to a permanent military institution, giving the Ottoman state a reliable and powerful tool for its imperial ambitions. This new model of a professional army would set a precedent, influencing military structures for centuries to come. The sultans understood that to build a lasting empire, they needed an army that was not just powerful, but also predictable and entirely loyal to the state. The Janissaries were the answer to that need. The Janissary system was more than military training. It was social engineering. The foundation of this system was the devshirme, a levy where young boys were recruited from Christian families within the empire. These boys were brought to the capital, converted to Islam, and began a new life completely dedicated to the state. They were educated in languages, mathematics, culture, and statecraft. They lived in barracks, followed strict rules, and were forbidden from private property or marriage in their early years. Their identity was shaped to be one thing: loyal servants of the state. This process was designed to erase their past allegiances and forge a new, unbreakable bond with the Sultan and the Ottoman Empire. The training was rigorous and holistic. It wasn't just about wielding a sword or firing a musket. It was about shaping the mind. They became some of the most educated men of their time, capable of serving not just as soldiers, but as administrators and officials. Their entire world was the core. Their only family was their fellow soldiers, and their only father was the Sultan. Discipline was the core of the Janissary power. They trained daily in silence, memorized signals, and responded instantly to commands. This relentless drilling created a unit that operated with machine-like precision. In an age where many armies broke formation in fear or chaos, the Janissaries stood firm. Their calm under pressure often shocked their opponents. On the battlefield, this discipline was a tangible weapon. While enemy lines might waver or crumble under a cavalry charge, the Janissaries would hold their ground, a solid wall of steel and resolve. This psychological advantage was immense. Opposing commanders knew that breaking a Janissary line would require an overwhelming effort. Their training emphasized collective action over individual heroics. Every soldier knew his exact role and trusted the man standing next to him to do the same. This unity made them a formidable defensive force and a terrifyingly efficient offensive one. Their ability to remain organized amidst the noise and terror of battle was a testament to a system that valued order above all else. The Janissaries were among the first military units in the world to adopt firearms as a standardized weapon. While other armies were still debating the effectiveness of these new, unreliable gunpowder weapons, the Ottomans fully embraced them. The Janissaries combined traditional archery with early muskets, creating hybrid formations that were unique for their time. They mastered coordinated volleys where ranks of soldiers would fire in succession, creating a continuous stream of firepower that could halt an enemy charge in its tracks. They developed defensive squares, a formation that offered protection from all sides, especially against cavalry. They perfected shield-supported firing lines, where one group of soldiers would provide cover while another reloaded their muskets. They were also experts in the strategic use of terrain, digging trenches and building field fortifications to enhance their defensive positions. This blend of old and new, the discipline of ancient infantry with the power of modern technology, made them exceptionally adaptable and gave them a decisive edge on the battlefields of Europe and the Middle East for centuries. The Mater military band was more than music, it was psychological warfare. The thunderous sound of its giant drums The piercing call of its horns and the clash of its cymbals were an integral part of the Janissary battle plan. Its rhythm set the pace of the march and the battle, boosting the morale of the Ottoman troops and filling them with a sense of invincibility. For the Janissaries, the familiar, powerful sound of the meter was a signal that their state and their sultan were with them. At the same time, this unique and intimidating sound was designed to intimidate enemies. For an opposing army that had never heard anything like it, the approaching wall of sound could be terrifying, creating confusion and fear before the first arrow was even fired. It was a sonic weapon, used to disrupt enemy formations and break their spirit. Sound became a strategic tool, demonstrating that the art of war wasn't just about physical combat, but also about controlling the psychological landscape of the battlefield. The meter band was a force multiplier, turning music into a weapon of conquest. The Janissaries functioned like a modern corporation. Their effectiveness stemmed from a highly organized structure with a clear hierarchy, written rules, and strict accountability. Every soldier, from the newest recruit to the highest-ranking officer, the Aga, knew their place and their responsibilities. This chain of command was unbreakable. Orders flowed from the top down with speed and clarity, ensuring that the entire corps could act as a single cohesive unit. Communication on the battlefield was remarkably efficient for its time. Instead of relying on shouted orders that could be lost in the din of battle, the Janissaries used a sophisticated system of flags, drums, and horns. Different drum beats or flag signals could order a charge, a retreat, or a change in formation, and these commands could be relayed instantly across a massive army. This system allowed for complex maneuvers to be executed with precision, giving Janissary commanders a level of tactical flexibility that their rivals often lacked. This organizational genius was a key reason for their long-standing success. The Janissaries were not only soldiers, they were educators, craftsmen, and administrators. Their influence extended far beyond the battlefield. In peacetime, they served as a stabilizing force within the empire. They acted as a city police force, maintained order, and even helped fight fires. As some of the most educated and disciplined members of society, they were respected and often held positions of authority. Many Janissaries who retired from active military service went on to become administrators, governors, or artisans, applying the discipline and skills they had learned in the corps to civilian life. They helped build and manage the infrastructure of the expanding empire. In major cities across the Ottoman lands, the presence of a Janissary garrison was a symbol of the state's authority and its ability to protect its citizens. Their discipline and organizational model became a standard, not just for the military, but for a well-run state, influencing future armies and administrative bodies around the world. The Janissary system was a masterpiece of organization, psychology, and strategy. It was a revolutionary experiment in military and social engineering that created one of the most effective fighting forces in history. For centuries, the Janissaries were the bedrock of Ottoman power, the instrument that carved out and defended a vast empire. They proved that a disciplined, well-trained, and educated force could shape the destiny of an empire. Though the corps eventually declined and was disbanded, its legacy remains one of the most fascinating chapters in military history. It serves as a powerful reminder that true strength doesn't just come from numbers or weapons, but begins with discipline, organization, and a shared sense of purpose. Thank you for watching. If you found this look into the science of strategy interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories from history. See you next time.